And they're like, well, why don't you just lead better? And you're like, okay, can you do this, please? No, you can't lead someone that doesn't want to follow, right? Wow, guys, welcome to my reaction series. Today, we are reacting to Andrew Wilson, the best debater on the internet, taking down a fake MAGA grifter. So let's get started.
That what it comes down to, a man who can provide, protect, and show that he is a strong leader absolutely deserves a woman who can trust him. And this is, I think, a big misalignment within society where I think deep down women really do want to submit to men. They want to be able, as we say.
Okay, you know what's so crazy? Women want to submit to men. Now, I just want you to put yourself in the shoes of an average woman. Let's say any of the women at this table. They get 5,000 matches on dating apps. Do you think if you as a man had 5,000 matches on a dating app that you could figure something out with it? You could, find somebody you like? And that's the thing. Women say that we want to do these things, but nothing is more revealed to you in your life of what you want to do than what you do. I've been saying for a few years I'm gonna stop swearing, but I think I just don't want it that bad because I keep doing it. You know what I mean? I think there's people with worse mouths than me, but I definitely don't have a good one. And that's stated preferences versus revealed preferences. If women wanted to submit to men, I mean, we wouldn't be marching for abortion and to be whores. And then you get the conservatives that come in and say not all women are like that. I mean, have you gone outside recently? Not all women are like that yet. If you get them young, then eventually. I mean, you think I had a potty mouth at 20? No. It's like, I mean, this is just how it goes. The women. Uh, anyway, so as I've said, if women wanted to, we would.
World, just turn your brain off when you're on a date. You don't have to
be in your
think
feminine
about
power,
where you're walking, and you can really, and what I said with the sourdough and nails and stuff like that, clearly you don't understand jokes, but that's just my style when it comes to speaking. I think embracing your femininity, women, because we've been pushed into the workforce and had to.
That's another thing. Women pushed into the workforce. Okay. Again, if you had 5,000 matches on a dating app and you were 18, do you think if you said to your parents, "Hey, can I stay home for 6 months and Matt's done all the work for you with dating apps. I know everyone's saying, "Oh, don't meet on the dating apps." I'm like, I mean, as a woman, you can get 10 dates in a week. Literally, you can do breakfast, lunch, and dinner and get I literally have a date every day till you find somebody you like. Again, if we wanted to, we'd do it, but we're picking going to school, we're picking going to the workforce. What women are picking is what women want. So there's this, yeah. Sometimes the women don't even know that's what we want, right? Kind of like the fat person who keeps saying they want to lose weight and they keep being fat. And it's like they keep saying they want to lose weight, but they might want to lose weight, but they want to do other things more. And therefore, it's just not a priority of them. And I would kind of use the same analogy in this. An 18-year-old, you know what, I said this to someone I knew recently. This person just took on like a second job, and I was like, you could live at home if you want. And this person has always told me for years they want to get married, and I'm like, well, why don't you just live at home, download the dating apps, and I bet in 6 months you're young enough you could find fun. But that's the thing. We have a tendency to say we want things, but life choices will reveal.
Consciously or unwillingly take on a lot of the male roles, like being the provider, being the protectors, things of that nature has led women to not be able to embrace their femininity. And so I think in a good relationship, a man will be able to embrace and flourish in his masculinity, and the same with the woman. And whatever that means, being a homekeeper, being a matriarch, being a really soft landing space for her husband to land on, and a good mother, providing that environment.
Notice how everything they list is an actual skill. A lot of women say they are. It's really a skill. The same way men getting laid, that's a skill. Women being soft and feminine, unless you were raised by a homemaker, which newsflash, about 80% of them are bitches too. So let's not, and it's not nothing against the homemakers, but you're so women, right? I gotta, I gotta give us the default. Not all, not all, not all, not all, not all. Um, but if you're not raised like that, these are skills that women have to learn. And everything, remember, it's like, a guy you're interviewing for a job and you're like, what can you do? And if they really know the job, they give you really specific details. They say, okay, well, a way that I keep myself quiet when I really want to talk is I do this, 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 and this, or a way that I've learned to anticipate his needs is X, Y, and Z. I've noticed that you go into really specific details, but when women talk in the abstract and there's no concrete example of what they're actually talking about, it's like a guy saying, "Well, what do you do? What was your previous job like?" And he's like, "Well, I worked and I worked really hard and I was very, I was a leader." And you're like, "Okay, but what did you get done?" Well, I worked really hard. Okay.
Okay, so my follow-up question to you would just be this then. If that is the case and this is what you believe, if you actually wanted men to have the authority inside of society and the responsibility, why would you advocate that women could vote?
Because I think you
Why don't they
keep
do that?
deleting the most important part of this, which is that not every single
Okay, so when the rubber hits the road with tradtons, you say, "Okay, give up your power." And this is how you can see when you ask women, you're like, "Oh, okay, so you're a traditional conservative. Give up social media. Let's power. Give it up." And then they're like, "Oh, I get it. I have a lot of fun on this app. Okay, I enjoy it a lot. So I'm not even judging them, but that's what I said. There's no such thing as traditional conservative women because when the rubber meets the road, and you say, "Well, give it up. Give up the vote." They're like, "No, can't." So
man right now and at large, lack of strong fathers. There's a lot of things that lead into, and this is not only a male problem, there's a female problem too. There are a lot of factors that lead into men. This is like the man or the bear question, if we get to that I think not every man right now, just being a man doesn't inherently make you worthy of being a leader. I think that you have to show that you are a leader, and this is true across the history of the world. Every single shepherd in the Torah and
no, it depends. It depends what you're advocating for. So men really didn't have to prove much historically, to be honest. Most of them did get a wife. She was expected to listen. I doubt she did. This idea that women were different. She had less power. So she had less power to ruin your life and defy you. But I mean, I've done the interviews with like 80, 90-year-old women. A lot of their answers, and I'm not even joking, are very similar to the young women today. So but when the rubber meets the road, a lot of them back in the day, women have the choice at like 16 to get into an arranged marriage up to like 22. And I mean, yeah, I guess he had to prove himself, but if most guys got a wife in that time period, I mean, how much of a leader was he going to be at like 20? You know what I mean? I mean, my grandpa married my grandma and this wasn't arranged, but I think he was below 20. So I mean, how you see my point. I don't, and I'm not saying women have to obey everybody. I mean, women can barely obey the men they marry. This idea that we could obey every man, yeah, get out of here. But a conservative value is that men inherently have more value than women, right? Men are born with an inherent value that women are not born with. And therefore, to some degree, you have to be obedient to men from a traditional worldview. If you're modern, that's fine. But you'll see they keep advocating a more modern worldview.
Book was chosen for a lot of their specific qualities. There's a reason why those men were chosen to be leaders. Same with Donald Trump. The other men who share similar qualities to him, but there's a reason why he was chosen to lead as opposed to any random guy that you can maybe find on the side of the street in LA who's catcalling women. I think that men who are worthy and live up to what it means to be leaders and protectors and also have kind hearts, not softies, but just overall good men, in my definition of it, I think those men are worth leading. And I don't think just because you're a man that automatically makes you a perfect, amazing leader. We've seen that throughout all of society.
So
So
how is this argument not actually contradictory? Because you're saying essentially that you need to reduce men's authority because you don't think that they're in a good position to lead women. You don't think that men in society are good enough leaders, and since they're not good enough leaders, you need to have authority so that
when
you
did I
can
say,
lead.
and sorry to cut you
Well,
off, but
I'm saying this is what
when did I
I'm telling
say
you what
any of that,
I'm
though?
explaining. I'm explaining. This is an illogical entailment of your argument. If you say to me, I'm advocating that women be able to vote because there's too many men in society who, if we give authority to, are going to lead me wrong, then you're actually saying that you need to have a
Yeah, Dina, I think we cannot. Now she's gonna gaslight. She's shaking her head like she didn't say that, but she did, in fact, say that. Like,
you can determine who's a leader and who isn't a leader that actually is stripping authority away from men. Like, this is the logical entailment. I don't see a way around it.
No, I think you're just taking it how you take it,
gaslight. That's the female default.
interpreting it and saying what you want to say. I've said a
Can you tell me
million
what's
times.
illogical? What's illogical about what I'm saying?
I didn't say the word illogical. You keep taking what I say and then just changing what I'm saying and then saying, so you're saying this. And then when I say, no,
Well,
I
how
didn't
am I
say that.
changing it?
When did I
I'm
say that we
just
should
asking a
take
direct
power
question.
away
Well,
from
listen,
men? When did I
I'm
say
showing
that
you.
we should
I'm
take
gonna
power away from men? When did I say that
I'm
once?
showing you I'm showing you the entailment of the logic. Here, I'll literally break down. Really, really simple. Here, I'll show you. So premise one.
I don't need you to show me. I need you to tell me when I said that because I'm
telling
saying
you.
what I say and you're telling me what you think I genuinely believe. And you
This is Andrew with kid gloves on. He's even being nice. All these women are so annoyed.
still won't address the point. But he can talk over me whenever he wants. But then if I talk over him, it's because I'm a woman who wants to have men removed from society.
I've moderated Andrew tonight. You got to let him finish.
How many
Go ahead.
times can you tell me what I think I said and what I
Okay,
think I
just let him-
mean?
listen.
I'm
Hear him
literally
out.
just going to
Hear him
show
out.
you.
Keep
I'm gonna
saying
show you
that,
in a second.
though.
Okay, stop. Just go ahead, Andrew.
So it's just like this. Just premise one, men need to lead. Okay. Premise two, in order for men to lead, they need to have authority. Premise three, women need to vote. Premise four, why do women need to vote? They need to vote because men aren't adequately leading, so women need to have authority. That's the entire syllogism. So then the conclusion is men are not capable of leading, so women need to have authority so that they can pick the men that need to lead them. So it's actually stripping authority away from men. I don't know a way around that.
Back in 2023, I was put on a government watch list for speaking out about men's issues. The government spent who knows how much money trying to shut me up. And honestly, to some extent, it worked. I was demonetized on YouTube. I had 3 Instagram accounts deleted, 7 TikToks accounts wiped out, and I was forced to delete 3 years worth of work, videos, interviews, everything. The more honest I was, the harder I was punished. And eventually, I had to shut down my show, move back home, and completely start over. But I'm not giving up. This time, we're doing things differently. I've created my own app, a space where free speech actually means free speech. On this app, you'll not only get access to all my old content, but you'll also help shape our future documentaries and show topics. For just $10 a month, you're not only supporting me, you're supporting a movement, a network that refuses to be silenced. The link is in the description. Join us and be a part of something that fights back against censorship. Now, let's talk bigger picture. Why don't we have true free speech in America anymore? Welcome to the female economy, where women make 80% of consumer buying decisions. Have you ever wondered why women always seem to get their way? Well, here's the truth. Men tend to care about the free flow of ideas. Men can separate an idea from the person who said it. But women, on the other hand, have learned that they can control what gets said by controlling what gets funded. Platforms like YouTube have one goal. They want to make money. And if that means catering to the majority female audience, they will. That's why being a conservative creator today feels impossible. This isn't just about me, it's about the future of online speech. With the Audacity Network, me and my community will never have to worry about being silenced again.
Like I'm literally reducing
And you
it
still
logically
haven't
so that I can show
addressed,
you.
again, that was not what I said. I didn't say men need to lead. I said they should lead. Ideally, men should be the leaders of society. But I don't think, you still won't address 15 times over. You're telling me what you think I said, but you won't address the one point, which is there has been a decline in what it means to be a man in terms of masculinity, in terms of chivalry, everything.
What does that mean? That means men have become less of slaves to me. That if you really break down what they're saying, women just don't really view men as people, except for like what men can do for them. So she's saying, why aren't the men enslaved to me more?
like that across
Yeah.
the board, there has been a
I
decline.
agree.
So if you
I'll-
agree with
I'll-
me
I'll
that
respect.
men are not, and this isn't only a male thing, but just speaking about men as leaders, that men at large, there has been a decline of what men's role in society has been, what they feel to be a man, and all of that combined means that right now, doesn't mean we should take authority away from men. It's the one thing you won't address is that I think we as a society, as women, as men, as Americans, as whatever, should work towards getting back to a place where men and women are more strong and embrace their femininity and their masculinity. And I think that will lead us to a better place where women who can embrace their femininity will naturally approach matriarchy. They will naturally say, wait, maybe, you know what? I actually don't love my corporate job. I know a lot of women who have convinced themselves that being powerful.
Okay, whenever we say we've convinced women or women convince themselves, that's always let me take accountability away from women and blame the marketing. Here's the thing. You can market you look at if you could just market things to people and they would buy them, then I mean you could just run a Facebook ad and be rich. You have to market a pain point to somebody, something they already want. So if women were feeling frustrated with their husbands and they choose the divorce button, it's not the person selling the divorce that's the bad guy or that even wanted it. But people find ways to make money based on pain points in society. So whenever you hear they're just, it's like rich. Women are convinced to do corporate jobs. No, no. Women get to live in an 800 square foot apartment. Like I went to Equinox today and this literally looked like a babysitting for adult women. Okay. I was walking around and looking at this gym. I'm like, there's the only workout places here. There's like a yoga mat, there's a spa, there's facials, there's, I mean, there's like red light therapy, there's massages. I'm like, where is the weight? It was like, I was literally walking around those babysitting if they have a kid. I'm like, this is babysitting for adult women. The men, they're like, I'm sick of my wife. Let me drop her off at Equinox.
And that they need to work for 30 years and make $1 million and then they'll have kids in their 40s. And then I personally don't agree with that.
It's not that women want to work. It's that women have a BS like job where they send 2 emails a day. And then so they get that we get to have all these fun. We get to be worshipped. You get 1,000 matches on a dating app. People are telling you you're awesome all the time. So it's not really the women are tricked into anything. It's just, I mean, you gotta look at this. You get to go on a yacht with Drake this weekend or have a kid with your high school sweetheart. Ooh. Like it's so obvious. The Tron cards. There's a reason that the women market themselves to the simps in the conservative movement. Because you just want to give every get out of jail free card. It's you guys are the best people to trap, if I'm being honest. Not all, obviously, but there's a good chunk of, I mean, there's a reason there's like a porn star to pastor pipeline. Because, I mean, the porn star can just say, I was tricked. And the pastor will be like, you were tricked. It was the devil, wasn't it? And she'll be like, yeah, it was. Or she was like, I was tricked by feminism. I did not want to get on a stream with NLE Choppa. I did not want to twerk at a Drake concert. I really deep down wanted children. And these guys just eat that up. This is what I mean. Men just love being lied to. They do. Women love being lied to too. But I could see women when we have a tendency to put on masks and you get your voice like 2 octaves higher, start talking slow, And then the men, I mean, their sex drive is just so strong. If you say it in the right tone, not the nagging tone that she's doing right here, but there's a reason Bonnie Blue got wifed, to be honest, or someone will wife her if they haven't yet. I mean, if you watch her interviews, she studied men in a way that this nagging woman hasn't. She doesn't argue. She just says, yeah, I love your dick. someone will do it. And I think that if we as a society get back to a place where originally women were not expected to be in the workforce, things of that nature, then women ought to be in the workforce. We gotta stop this. Women were expected. I'm like, you're falling for this, really? I have to be the one to say it. I feel like I'm watching a movie, right? At times, I feel like I'm watching a movie. And I'm the only one that knows that they're actors, right? And so I keep having to say, this is acting. And then everybody's like, Pearl, let me enjoy my movie. And I'm like, but you know, you guys are being tricked. This is acting. They're like, hey, we're really enjoying the movie. Shut the fuck up, Pearl. I'm like, but they're acting. Okay.
Hopefully can recover and whatever that means to them, and masculinity can become something that means more to them and is not seen as like I'm not done. Toxic masculinity,
Well, I mean, are
all
you
of
ever gonna
that
be done?
stuff, all of that toxic masculinity stuff
girl.
has taught men or to feel bad about themselves and not embrace their masculinity. So I think the most important part of this is not stripping away power from men or saying women are better to lead. I think we need to focus on fixing that issue, whether it's through strong fatherhood, whether it's through stopping this idea that everybody's saying toxic masculinity anytime a man wants to actually act like a man, opening the door for a woman and a woman gets offended. I think moving away from
Yeah, so she's saying, I want more slaves.
When you think about it, what is femininity at its core? I don't think a lot of people think it's the flower dresses. But in my assessment of what femininity is, it's really women serving men at its core. That's what it is at its core. So when she said, like, it's anything, it's almost masculine to have the guy hold the door for you. You got it, like you pick at those Asian women, I would give them the top pick for femininity, to be honest, if I had to pick a race or group. If you go to you ever seen those girls at anime convention? You can just tell they've studied it. But they have the soft boy, and you know, the women that are saying, "Can I help you? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I?" That's what I think of. I don't think of the makeup. I don't think of the dresses. I think of the grandma that's like, "Oh, can I get you this? Can I get you that?" That's femininity at its core. And to some extent, it is a skill that in the West, I mean, everyone's worshiping women all the time. So, you know, I mean, if you guys, I think you would blackpill you if you ever saw the dating app of the average women at this table.
that as a society will get us to a place where men at large will be better equipped to lead society. And it doesn't mean that right now, I'm not saying if I really meant it, I would say it. I'm not having any secret arguments. I'm saying what I mean, which is the step one. I think ideally men should be the leaders.
Yeah, so we ruined society. We asked for this. Men are responding. We're still going to blame the men for responding to what the women asked for. Ultimate gaslighting. Can you imagine being married to a woman like this?
And the step to get there
Almost
is to
done.
fix masculinity.
That's so funny.
That's what I'm saying.
So to address, you keep saying I want to address this argument, but the argument was my premise. So the thing is when you say, okay, but you haven't addressed what's going on with men in society and the lower testosterone and the fact that they're not leading as well. But I actually did. That was the premise of my original argument, which is the reason that you see a failure in men in society is because they have all the responsibility without the authority.
And women have cucked them. Yeah, they used to get a virgin bride.
Now they're like, could you have fucked less than 20 guys, please? They're like, can you just not come with an incurable STD? Can you not come with a kid? And the women are like, we can't do that. We can't. We're like, really?
Yeah,
They have the responsibility absent the authority. So I say, okay, so how do we fix that? How do we fix the idea here that you have additional responsibilities without authority? That your premise here is, well, we need to move back to all of these things, which are preambles to women voting, by the way. That all of these things that you're pointing to, this is pre-women's suffrage. And so I go, okay, well, that makes sense. So then why is it then that you would say that men, right, who have this additional responsibility as leaders, right, you wouldn't want them to have the authority to exercise that responsibility? That seems like it's ultimately what you want. What's going on is you have an actual internal conflict here. The conflict is, I want to be a strong, empowered woman while at the same time advocating that there's a patriarchy. It's like you can't have both.
You don't know that.
Patriarchy, hang on. Hang on. Either the patriarchy is empowered with the authority to lead, or it is not. And if you say it's not empowered with the
Yeah, and the thing is, so if I hire somebody, right, and I say, do this, and they say no, and then I go and I say, can I fire this person? And the state says you can't. And they're like, well, why don't you just lead better? And you're like, okay, can you do this, please? No, you can't lead someone that doesn't want to follow, right? Do this. And then they say, I won't. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like, I see that the men go crazy and they're just like, I'm going home. I'm not voting. I'm not working. I'm crashing out.
authority to lead, women need to be able to select the leaders. You have a matriarchy then, not a patriarchy. You have a second class.
What you got?
Has additional responsibilities women don't have, but have a limited amount of authority or equal authority to women. That's the opposite of patriarchy. It makes no sense.
I just don't understand position or where you're coming from, where you consistently think that you know what I actually feel. Like I'm having an internal conflict. You don't know anything about my values before the show. Maybe you follow me. I don't know. No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're saying the opposite of what I said.
Gaslight.
Every single time. And that's why it's just so frustrating. I have an internal conflict because I want to be an empowered woman. You're pushing what you
Nag. You're the most feminine girls at the table. I really don't like about women, the ones that shut the fuck up. What's a hypocrite? It's hard for 2 hours straight a day. But if you guys are opting into this, you have chosen to be here.
On to me, somebody that you clearly don't know much about, or you can happily look through my social media.
Listening to your arguments.
And based off of that, you are saying that I'm clearly a secret feminist who wants to be an empowered woman. Finally said it right for everybody else, but you're telling me that based off absolutely what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Logic. I'm showing you logic.
No, that's not logic. That is you trying to push what you think about women onto me, trying to catch me in something.
I'm just showing you a logical position.
What have I said? Or what have I displayed throughout my life that shows that I want to be an empowered woman where men are on the sidelines and don't have power?
You are advocating that women vote. If you advocate women vote, the entailment is women have authority.
Well, women can vote.
Hang on. Entailment is that women have authority and equal authority to men. That's not a patriarchy. It's the opposite of a patriarchy. That's no longer a patriarchy. So if men have additional responsibility, right, but they only have equal authority, then they don't have the authority to lead. They don't have the authority to lead because you can negate their authority anytime you want. That's the entailment of your logic. When you say, what have I displayed in my personal life, has nothing to do with the logic of.
All right. So that's what we're working with here. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video. I love watching TradCon women crash out. This is very entertaining for me. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.